Now I'm going to go to my window, content browser, and then in the content browser you have filters. So I'm going to go to my filters and make sure I turn off everything else that has a checkbox. And I'll turn off, nope. So now I'm going to go to filters, all my filters turned off. I'm going to go to static mesh, and it should load up all the meshes possible. So here I'm going to search for rock, and I'm going to take rock mesa 06 aggressive LED. Oh, I seem to have lost my content browser. Go to window, content browser, minimize that, search rock, and drag it into the world. Now I'm gonna try to scale this up. Now there's a cool thing you can do, it's called uniform scaling. So if you come to your transform tool, location, rotation, scale, all the way across is lock. Turn that lock on and hit a number. Like 2, it goes to 2 in all axes X, Y, and Z. So 2 seems pretty good. So let's delete all this jankiness. And replace it with this rock. In fact, let's go to 3. Can I pull up the reference, kind of match what I'm looking at? Let's rotate this guy. Sure, change the direction to create some variation with the rock formation. And then duplicate to the other side, rotate it. So just rotating in different directions just to make sure that the rock looks different. And every time I kind of lose focus, I can hit 1 and come back to where my camera is supposed to be locked. All right, so I will rebuild the back mountain later. So for now, that gets rid of those butt ugly cube meshes we wanted for our rocks. Next, for the static mesh pass, I'm going to remove our geometric walkway with a static mesh walkway. So I'm going to go back to my content browser, search floor, and you want SM throne room floor 1024. Drag that into the world. And let's scale it up. I still have my universal scale on. Set it to 2. Alright, that works. I'll hit H to hide it. I'll delete all of these guys. Control H to unhide. And just clone this down the line. Next, I'm going to replace the railing and the small pillars. Back to my content browser, hit wall, and let's add SM throne room exterior wall trim 02. And let's scale this to 2. Still have my universal lock on. And then I'm also going to flip it and connect it so it's one piece. Like that. Select both pieces, hide them, and delete these guys. Control H to unhide, and just going to keep selecting these. In fact, let me change the scale a little bit, turn off my universal scaling. I kind of want it to fit in the gap that I've set with the pillar, so just using my scale tool, so it fits, and I'm just going to clone this out. And then on the other side, and hit 1. Alright, now I'm going to replace the segmented pillars. Go back to my content browser, type pillar, and let's use let's see. I think these look pretty cool. It's SM Throne Interior Pillar 01/2. Actually, let's use SM Throne Interior Pillar 01. We'll scale this, put my universal lock back on, 2. Trying to see how this fits. I don't actually like that piece that much. I'm gonna go back to my content browser. I'll search for a wall. And actually, you know what? Pillar's fine. Double guessing myself here. Let's use a very simple SM Throne Interior Pillar 9. Then we'll have a scale of 2 or even 2.5. Turn on my universal scaling. I think it's too high. So I'll set its height to 1, maybe 1.2. Delete this guy. And then delete the rest of these guys. And replace them down the line. Make sure they're roughly about equal. And just fill in the gaps. And bring back the concept. Slowly starting to take even more shape. And the next piece we're going to work on is the archway and the back wall. So let's begin by replacing the large pillars first, because they're probably easier to do. Let's go to our content browser, and we're going to replace that with a wall piece. A wall, and we want the SM Throne Exterior Wall 01. Rotate that 90 degrees, and I'm going to set my universal scale to about 4, maybe even 3. Let's drag it back. Probably 4 works better. Clone it. And then for the top segment, let's see what we can do. Actually, you know what, let's divert a little bit from the concept and add some cool windows at the top. I'm going to my content browser, wall still selected. I'm going to search SM Throne, actually just search for word window. And you want this third one, SM Throne exterior wall window 03. Let's set this to value of 4, maybe even 3. Rotate 90 degrees. And we're going to add it on top of our wall segment here. Now, things are not lining up that well, so I'm going to turn off my grid temporarily and slide it over just about here. And maybe turn off my universal scaling and scale this in the Z to about 2.5. Drag it over. And then I'm going to delete the back pillar. All right, now the next part I'm going to add the archway. So I'm going to go back to my content browser, type arch, and there's throne exterior arch, door arch. Let's add that. Just drag it into the world, rotate it, and let's put it in place before we scale it up. So I'm not going to use universal scaling. I'm going to use numbers. The y-axis, the green, I'm going to set it to about 3. And the x-axis also 3. 3 is a bit too wide. 2 looks pretty good. And on the z, maybe 2 as well. Kind of line it in place. And let's delete our cube, our placeholder. Now there's a bit of a gap. It's not lined up. It's a bit more on the right than it is on the left. So just turn my grid off a little bit. Just kind of put it in the center. Turn my grid back on. Then I'm going to add the upper wall. Let's type wall. And let's try something different. I'm going to add SM Throne exterior wall 03. Rotate this 90 degrees. Pull it back. And let's turn on universal scaling and set it to 2. Let's line it up with our temporary cube. Hide it, delete the cube, Control H unhide. Pull this up just a little bit. And that looks pretty good. Bring back the concept. Starting to look a little bit more like it. Just some liberties have been taken, but we might come back and make it match a bit more. Now for the last part of the first pass of static meshes, I'm going to replace the gray box wall, castle wall. So again, content browser, we already have wall selected. Let's use just a simple wall 02, rotated by 90 degrees, and let's scale it up to, with the universal scale on, 4. A nice big piece. Then I'm going to rotate it by 20 degrees. One thing I forgot to mention is you can change the direction of your widgets. See, I have my world transform and then local transform. To do that, you can actually go into your window, edit preferences, and search world. So type world and world relative transform. I have mine set to semicolon. And type local. It's not local. Local relative transform. I have mine apostrophe, so I can just change the direction of my widget. So my world setting and local. Now in local, I have the same direction as my angle. Easier to work with. So let's make this an even bigger piece. Let's duplicate it. So we have that, and then we'll clone it down. There. And I'll hide that. Hide, select that, delete. Select this one, delete. Control H. Select my wall pieces. And one more hiding behind these rocks. There it is. Hit 1. And back to my world transformation. Clone it. Right click, transform, mirror Y. Slide it on down. Hit G for game mode, hit 1 to center my view, to my camera lock, back to the concept, and things are already looking better than before. In the next step, in the next tutorial, in step 3, I'm going to be covering more detailed static meshes. So check the next video for that.